How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to New Mexico State Men's Basketball News. I'm Marshall, and first things first, before we get into the video, I know the lighting's kind of off. Like, you guys can probably see some of the, from the blinds, like, looks like the sun's coming down this way. So I apologize for that, but there's nothing I can really do about it. As you guys see, obviously back in the room, back here on campus, made it back safely, thankfully. But let's talk about the Aggies' big win last night against FIU. They won 59-52 on the road. They've won 3 out of their last 4 road games. They've won 8 out of their 9, 8 of their last 9 overall. Won 7 in a row. Just playing really great basketball. And let's talk about if the Aggies are back from the dead and see if they're back to being as dominant as we're used to. Our starting lineup's been looking the same so far, so I'm assuming that's going to continue how it looks. Rotation will look the same as well. Last night, Deontay Bostic and Zadie Jackson really stepped up, especially towards the end. Deontay hit a big 3. He only took 2 threes all night, but he knocked down both of them. So maybe he can continue to shoot them more and be more consistent. His free throws roll off. He only shot 3 for 6 from the free throw line. And as a team, we didn't shoot that great from the free throw line. I believe we only shot like 50-something%. I could be wrong on that. But definitely, the free throws would have been a little bit nicer to hit more consistently. But we do what they do to get the win, so that's great. Zadie Jackson, again, he also had 13 points. Stepped up big towards the end. Christian Cook, he stepped up towards the end too. Didn't have his greatest game shooting-wise, kind of like the UTEP game. He had about 5 points for the longest time throughout the whole half, the second half. Then he had a clutch 3 and had a layup at the end, a pump fake, went up. Super great move. And then he had 8 out of his 10 points in the second half. So, again, he didn't have his greatest game, but he came in clutch when he needed to. Jaden Harris played a great game. He had a top of the key 3. He had about 6 points, played his role very well. On the posts, they played their role, played effectively. The whole team just played really well. Started off the game hot. We were 21-9. And then we slowly let FIU get into it a little bit. At first, it was looking like we were just going to dominate like we were the past couple of games where we won by, almost 30 both games. But that wasn't the case, unfortunately. Still got the win by 7. It was great. Would have been nice to win by a little bit more, and not be super close. But once FIU had the lead later there in the second half, we went like on a 9-0 run, including Cook, Bostic, Zadie hitting big shots. Peter played a great game. He had 11 points. Rob started off the game pretty strong. He had 4 points, but didn't finish out the game strong. That's, how he finished. He finished with only 4 points. But you're going to have those off nights here and there. So not too disappointed in him. Just really happy that the Aggies played well overall. Gabe Pickens came in and played some, big true minutes, at point guard. So that was great to see as well. I tried to adjust the camera a little bit and moved it. And so it's not as bad as it was. It might still get in the way if I do that a little bit. So I'm kind of sitting a little uncomfortably, but I'm trying to make this video the best it can be. So I apologize for anything that looks awkward. But obviously, FIU's defense was pretty solid. They played pretty good defense on us, and we played pretty good defense too. It's kind of a lower scoring game. I mean, it was 59-52. And also speaking of that, as you guys see in the thumbnail, let me know how you guys think about the thumbnail. Shout out to Pete. He, I'm on Instagram on both my main and my basketball account for the basketball team. He was telling me about Canva and how I should be using it more. I thought it cost money to use everything, but if you use the templates, it doesn't. So that's huge. So I'm going to be using that for like the final scores and all that when I post it on Instagram and Twitter and everything on YouTube. And then probably use it for my thumbnails as well because I think it's a lot nicer. It looks a lot cleaner. So let me know what you guys think about that. Yeah, the defense was just great overall from both sides. I mean, I think, we both didn't shoot great. We shot better than them, from 3 and, from the field. They shot better from the free throw line. They shot by like 76%. Like I said, I think we only shot in the 50s. But we held them only making 2 threes. I believe they shot like 2 for 13 from 3. So that's big, especially nowadays. If you're only going to hit 2 threes in a college basketball game, or just any basketball game in general, you're more than likely not going to win the game. But they still put up a fight, so respect to them. But that's just huge if we can continue to do that. And we held them to 52 points. We've been holding our last, in conference, we've been holding our opponents to about 52 points. Held UTEP to 57. Held Louisiana Tech to 48, I believe. The only team that scored a lot against us was Sam Houston State, and that was the first game. That was a dogfight. But since then, we've just been, playing extremely well on the defensive end and playing very well on the offensive side as well. I think when we take care of things on defense, it, sets up our offense very well. That's something Coach Hooten and his staff and the whole team, they're looking forward to continue to do. FIU is also a super athletic team. I can't remember his name, but that number 11 guy, he was getting up and just dunking. They had some guys who, like you said, like even though they weren't hitting their threes as consistently, they could still hit the middies pretty well. So, even though, again, they're last in the conference right now, I feel like there's no days off in Conference USA. In any conference, every game is going to be competitive. I believe most games will be kind of like that game last night from the Sam Houston State game. I know we have those 2 dominant wins, which is great. I'm sure we'll get a couple more of those. But I expect a lot of the games to be close like this, and we've been winning these close games. This is a game that if we had early in the year, we definitely would have lost it, especially on the road. I feel like at home, maybe we would get the win. But this is a tough, gritty win on the road. And so we got a blowout win on the road against UTEP in conference, which is great. And now we got a game that was super close, neck and neck at the end, and got the win, which is great. That's what I want to see. I want to see us get those road wins, best of both worlds, which means we can handle that pressure, handle those moments, And now we've had that experience over in a situation again where it's super close like that on the road against any team, whether they're good, bad, average. Again, conference, opponents are gonna be coming out every night. Anybody can beat anybody on a given night. So it's just great to have that experience overall. We face Liberty tomorrow. Can't remember the exact time, but obviously I'll post about it. You guys will see it all. I'll post it on here and everything on my community posts and everything, and on my social medias. Again, go follow those if you guys haven't. At NM State MBB News, same thing as this. Liberty is 2-3 in conference. They had a great non-conference. I think they only lost like one game in that. They lost to UTEP last night at home by 2. We beat UTEP on the road, so a lot of people be like, "Oh, we should be able to win then." But again, every game is different. Liberty's a good team, and they still have a chance, to fight and have a chance of finishing within the top 3 in Conference USA. Right now, we're in number 1. I would love to keep it there. I've been seeing a lot of people making predictions for the NCAA tournament already. Since we're first right now, it's still early. We're obviously in that range. I've seen people have us 14th, 15th. I saw one where we'd be playing against Oregon, so it'd be funny to play against my home state. I've also seen things. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. I've seen things too where like if we're to finish 15th and UNM were to finish like 10th, which is a possibility, and we're to both get upsets in the first round of the March Madness tournament, that we could face each other in the second round, which would be very scary. Because I've always thought about if that were to happen. How it'd be insane, like how whoever would win that game would have bragging rights for the whole year. If we were to win that, if that were to somehow happen and we were able to win that, that'd be bragging rights for us forever. We beat them twice in the season. Once on the road in the pit, tough environment, and then once in another tough environment in March Madness. But even if they were to get the win, then our loss or our win against them on the road isn't as impressive as that. So if that were to happen, very scary. I think we could do it. We did it once. I think we could do it twice. But again, that's so far in the future. We got to focus on the present, and that's what the Aggies are doing. Listening to the post-game conference, Coach Nuno was just very happy with the defense. He was happy that Zadi stepped up. He's really proud of the player that Deontay's turning into. He's a very great team player, and he's been stepping up scoring-wise recently. He's had some 12-point games, 13-point games. Again, I know he averaged 15 points at Cal State Northridge, but his role in this team, he can still score the ball for sure when he needs to. When he gets to the bucket, when he get to the rim, get a bucket. He's a great slasher, and his shooting's improving. His free throws have improved for the most part, but again, I know last night didn't show that, but I can tell his free throws have improved. Just hopefully he can just keep improving his shooting. He kind of reminds me of a little bit of Femi last year, how he's good in the paint, can score in the paint, has a lot of great skill, but I think he's definitely a lot better of a shooter than Femi is. Femi's shooting like 41% from the field this year, which isn't, horrible, but I was looking at his free throw percentage. He's only shooting like 37% from the free throw line, which is even worse than he was with us, which is crazy. And he's like shooting, I think, in the 20s for threes. So Deontay's definitely better in that aspect. Because Femi was one of our bigger losses last year, and I knew, it was gonna be hard to replace him in a way. But having Deontay just stepping up and playing great is, great for that. And then losing Jalen Jackson-Posey, he was obviously our point guard last year, but having him and Zadi step up, they're doing a lot of great things. And again, gave for our future. Just couldn't be, any more proud, any more happy with, with the future and the possibilities, it could all be. So right now we're 11-6, 4-0 in conference. Definitely have a high chance at finishing with 20 wins, getting 13 conference wins, which I knew was going to be tough. It'd be a struggle. I didn't know if we could do it, but they're showing that they have a high chance to do it. And again, it's still early, but we're about almost a quarter of the way through conference, so we'll see if they can continue the trend of winning. I definitely think they can. Again, play against Liberty tomorrow. If I had to make a score prediction, I say we win that in a very tight contest. I say we win like 75-73. But Liberty, again, they did lose to UTEP by 2, so they're going to come out hot. They're not going to want to lose again in a close game at home or just at home in general. But I also said that against La Tech when they lost to UTEP in the first game of conference, and then we came out and he beat them by 30. You just never know what to expect, especially in conference. Anything can happen, but I do expect it to be a dogfight and for us to come out on top. Other teams that aren't looking too bad: Western Kentucky, Jacksonville State, Kennesaw State. They're all looking solid. Kennesaw State was picked to finish 10th in Conference USA. Dead last, it's their first year in the conference, so they want to prove something. They want to show that they're not the worst team in the conference, and I don't think they are by any means. I think they're definitely in the middle of the pack. We'll play against them at home, so that'll be good. I believe we play against Jacksonville State at home next Saturday. I could be wrong on that. And apparently that was supposed to be the Pack the Pan Am game. It was advertised, which I actually didn't see, so that's on me. But apparently the new Pack the Pan Am night is not going to be that Jacksonville State game. It's going to be on February 15th against FIU. So if we beat FIU on the road, if we bring our whole crowd, I think we can beat them at home by a lot, because last year, I know FIU, our team has changed a little bit too, but we also have some of the players, same players. I can't remember if FIU has a new coach or not, but their coach last year wasn't too bad of a coach. I just remember last year at home, I mentioned this a couple times on the channel, how we were up by 26 at one point, 66-40, with a big Jordan Rawls 3 in the corner, who's actually playing very well overseas. He has some 30-point games and stuff. But then we ended up only winning 77-70 by 7 points. I was kind of getting frustrated because I knew we were probably going to get the win, even after we were up by that much and, kind of blowing it toward the end. But it was just so frustrating. It's like, let's just keep the lead. But the Aggies have been doing that a lot better. And that's also what I liked about last night. I know we were up by about 12-ish points early in the first half. And then FIU came back, but they never got like a huge lead. I think that their biggest lead was like maybe 2. Man, they were by 3, by 5-2 at one point, like very early in the game. They got by 2, 47-45 late in the game. But every time they made a little bit of a run, got the game close, we always seemed to like push back. We went on like a 9-0 run, got it up by, up by 9 points, up by 6 points, up by 7 points, whatever it may have been. We just responded very well whenever FIU tried to throw a punch at us. Overall, I think that's going to do for the video. I don't think I have anything else to touch on. I think I touched on everything I want to or wanted to. If I forgot anything, please let me know, because that definitely could be a possibility. A lot of times there's always that one thing you forget. It's like when you go to the store to get something and then you end up buying everything else in the world that you don't need, and you forgot the thing that you needed. So that definitely happens to me. It actually happened to me somewhat recently. Shocking, not really. Really, guys, wow, see, I cannot talk. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm out.